All right, what is going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday, September 15th. It is a Marvel MCU topic discussion that we have every single Wednesday. So excited to be here with you. I circle this day every single week on the beginning of the calendar of the week because I just love interacting with the panel, interacting with you all. I'm going to have a fun time. So just to let off the itinerary for tonight, we will be discussing episode 6 of What If Killmonger rescued Tony Stark. We'll be diving into that, having some discussions around the episode, of course. But we also have some MCU news to talk about up top regarding Hawkeye. We got the Hawkeye, hence let me go over here, the purple color right here. So we'll be talking about that trailer. I'm going to be playing the trailer for you all that haven't seen it and kind of discussing with the panel and obviously you all in the chat. We got a topic to discuss in regards to the leak culture. Is it too much for you all? Is it too many leaks going on that kind of ruins things for you all? We'll talk about that. Andrew Garfield, Venom 2, and all that fun stuff. So it's going to be a fun time. So everyone that's tuning in live, make sure you're liking the video. It means a lot, helps out the algorithm, all that fun stuff. But also make sure you're interacting in the chat, whether you're watching the replay or watching it live. And then more importantly, subscribe, follow these wonderful content creators that I'm going to be bringing in here in a bit. And let's have a good time tonight. So with all that being said, got to bring in my guy representing the East Coast. Always a pleasure talking to him, picking his brains on the MCU stuff, having a fun time. He has an incredible following on his Instagram, on his YouTube, and I think he says he's going to be starting a TikTok here and talking about sports and talking about how the Knicks are going to be winning the championship and all that stuff. But talking about my main man, Chris from Tait's Take. What's going on, man?
Gang. What's up? Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, man. How's life in New York treating you, man? The weather's getting a little bit cooler. It's almost fall time, man.
No, we squeezing the life out of this summer, so we still good. We 85 degrees today, so we good. We sweating out here.
Yeah, man. Well, Chris, man, what's been going on, man? What's any new movies or shows, man? What's been going on your side of town?
Let's see. I'm behind, so I finally watched Free Guy.
Oh, okay. We got quick thoughts. Good, bad, not so good.
Did not like Free Guy, and I didn't want to watch Free Guy, and y'all made me, y'all peer pressured me into seeing it. I love Ryan.
Yeah.
But I was like, the trailer seemed like a lot, and it was a lot.
It was.
So I finally watched that, and then I was just doing straight catch up the last couple of weeks. So I finally watched Candyman a week or two, maybe last week.
Okay.
And I think I like Candyman more than YouTube liked it. I think there's a lot of discrepancy from Candyman reviews. Some people say it's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Some people said it was a little lacking. I think you were on you didn't love it, but you found the value in it. And I think the same thing, and you were right. It wasn't crazy scary. It was fine. I survived. Right. But I did check that out. I thought it was a good movie. It wasn't like epic. Yeah. But it was like not as good as Get Out or Us. But it was like, okay, this is worth this black man's dollar. Like this is fun.
No doubt.
I watched The Voyeurs.
Oh man. Yo, we gotta talk about that off camera, man.
Yeah, if it's sleazy, I gotta watch that. So I checked that out, man. And then I'm trying to think. This weekend looks real quiet for movies, so I think I'm free. I might check out Blue Bayou just for the culture, but yeah, I think it's a quiet weekend for like big. Yeah, movies.
It's nothing big this weekend from what I remember as far as the calendar. I know some shows coming back, Sex Education and stuff like that, but nothing big, man. But hey, Chris, why don't you let the people know if this is their first time tuning in, watching the replay, what you're about, man? Where can they find you and all that good stuff? The stage is yours, man.
All right. No, yeah, they can find me on YouTube, and my channel's of course in the description here. I'm at Tait's Take. I've been doing this thing about a year and a half, and I do movie reviews, TV show reviews. Try to give you a little background on the content, just so I let you know where this stuff comes from, and then just let you know if I think it's worth checking out. So if you're into that kind of thing, subscribe to the channel. I know as people in the chat, a lot of the homies already, so keep supporting if you're watching my stuff. And I just really appreciate, being on the panel. You guys can find my my Instagram, my Twitter is also in my description too. If you want to reach out and just say what's up, I'm very friendly. It's true.
No doubt, man. Again, Chris is always here, representing the East Coast every week, dropping some great nuggets of information, and couldn't be happier to have him on every week. So guys, if you haven't already, because like I say, he's on here every week, but if you haven't already, click the link in the bios. Check him out, man. Chris is phenomenal. You guys won't be disappointed. So Amanda's still covering Tiff. We miss her. She's here in spirit. Hopefully she'll be returning next week, but we've been fortunate enough to have some incredible guests on this series so far, and we got another one tonight. It's been a minute. I was actually actually collaborated with him last week. We were talking Shang-Chi on Flix Talks channel, and we interact through DMs, stuff like that. But he hasn't been on the channel for over a year or so with a watch along we did. But I'm so excited to have him back, man. This guy is such a awesome individual. I appreciate him because number one, he's in Portugal, so it's like 6 hours, like 12 o'clock over there. So I appreciate him tuning in tonight and hanging out with us and the crew. But man, he's such a great guy. He has such a great following on Instagram. Him and his daughter have a great account where they cover a lot of the new movies, do a lot of community chat type of things, group events, and just an overall great guy. And I'm so excited to have him on because he's a great knowledge of Marvel material, and I'm excited to pick his brain on tonight's episode and the topics that we have at hand. I'm talking about the one and only Big J from Unyolo. What up, man?
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're doing great, man. The more important question is, how are you doing? It's 12 o'clock, man. You're a night owl. I don't know how you be doing this, man.
12 o'clock is nothing. I never go to bed before 4 or 5 in the morning. So
there you go, man. He's wired differently.
Sometimes it's easier for me when it's late because like when it's lunch, dinner and stuff. So this is the perfect time for me.
Awesome, man. Well, Big J, man, like I said, it's been a minute, my friend. I'm so glad to have you on. How have you been, man? I saw you saw a movie recently that I'll be talking about tomorrow with Nicolas Cage, but any new movies or shows that you've been checking out, man?
Yeah, like I watched Free Guy, really liked it. It was just to say to Chris.
It's not whack. It's not whack.
Yeah.
It's not whack.
Yeah.
And Candyman, I thought it was like, I'm a big fan of the original Candyman, so this is completely different, but I really enjoy it. But yeah, this week I was in a horror festival, so was watching a lot of horror movies.
Yeah.
And saw some cool things, like some that I didn't like, but I was interested in watching. I saw something that it was the best time I had the whole year, and it's Aliens on Stage.
It's a doc, right?
It's a documentary about some guys in the UK that decided to do the Alien movie on stage as a play. But we're talking completely amateurs, and it's like it's hilarious. Like it's kind of The Office, and it's so funny. And then I saw also a movie called Mad God. I don't know if you guys heard about it.
No, I haven't heard of it.
But it's like I hated it, but I wanted to see it because it's from the guy that did all the what's his name? Phil Tippett. You know, the guy did all the special effects of Star Wars.
Yes. Yeah.
So he's been for the last 30 years doing this movie, just with animatronics and stuff.
30 years. Wow.
30 years, and now he finally put it out there. And it looks really cool, but it's just like a real trip in terms of like storytelling. I was like, what the hell is going on? Very gory and stuff. And I also saw, I don't know if you guys saw Malignant.
Yeah.
Man. Did you guys like it? I'm feeling alone here because I really liked it. I thought it was like just a fun movie, and a lot of references to old
campy 80s horror films. I
thought it was a great fun, but that's what I've been doing.
Nice, man. Well, hey, Big J, man, let the people know at home, man, where they can find you. Tell them about the awesome community you and your daughter have built, and let them know all that good stuff, man. Stage is yours.
So we are on Instagram, and Unyolo Movies blog. It's just an Instagram account where I share with my daughter all the movies we see. We share lists of like the best movies, etc. But it's just an account where we can share our love with movies, and then we do a lot of things with other accounts. So go and check it out. It's a nice community. We don't have anyone getting on anyone's nerves, so it's pretty fun to do it.
The community they've built has been incredible. I've been a part of some of the events they've held in the past, man. And it's just so great to be, like he said, there's no toxicity or anything, and people just having a good time talking about film, which is, one of the reasons I want to start this channel and my Instagram and all that stuff. So you definitely, guys, if you want to be a part of something positive, something fun, talking about good movies, bad movies, and just hearing each other's opinions, definitely check them out. Link in the bio. Follow him. Him and his daughter are incredible. So definitely do yourself a favor and check them out. So look, guys, we got a lot to cover tonight. And I said I'm rocking the purple because we had a trailer that dropped this week for our next Disney Plus series coming this holiday season to a TV near you. And it is the Hawkeye series, ladies and gentlemen, with Clint Barton teaming up with Kate Bishop as we continue to see the new Avengers slowly but surely be built on the small screen. But I think inevitably they'll be making their way to the big screen. So before we play the trailer, which we're going to do here in a bit, and I'm going to get Chris and Big J's thoughts, I want to definitely say what's up to everyone showing some love in the chat. We got the regulars in the building, which we can always expect showing some love. We got some new people showing some love, but I'm just so excited to be here with you all. So again, guys, continue the conversation. Let us know your opinions on these topics at hand, and we're going to get this thing started. So starting with you, Chris, Hawkeye, man. Clint Barton, first and foremost, as far as Avengers go, is he one of your favorite, least favorite? Do you care not about this guy? What's your thoughts on Hawkeye and your thoughts on this series before we get into the trailer here?
Absolutely not one of my favorite Avengers. But he's not Falcon. Falcon I dislike. Hawkeye I just don't really care about. I respect him, and I think he's good in the movies, but there's just almost every other Avenger I prefer over him. But he's not in that category that I put the Falcon in. That's where I have him.
Gotcha, man. And as far as like kind of, I guess with that being said, excitement level for at least Kate Bishop, maybe, you know, with this excitement level of obviously Haley Steinfeld's been a star in the making for the last decade, but are you excited at least for her taking on the mantle and taking on the bow and arrow from Hawkeye?
Yeah, I discovered her back in Pitch Perfect because I'm a nerd. So I was a little late, but I'm excited for that angle of the story. This is one of those shows where like I don't care about this show, but I know I'll be on here saying that it's good because it's going to be one of those shows that you're not supposed to expect a lot from, and it's going to over exceed. I love Christmas, so that just helps the energy of it. So I'm pretty sure it'll be a cool little thing there. I just don't care about Hawkeye. But that's the point of these shows, to like make you care about these people and give you a little more background. You know, Infinity War and Endgame gave us a little bit of like a little glimpse into that, and then plus you know there's like the angle of like, is he paying for Ronin, and like are we talking about that, like is he making, are there any sort of consequences there? So that's interesting. But I'm just like, okay, we'll see. Yeah,
I think, like you said, not caring. I think that's due to the fact that Marvel seemed to not really care about the character too much as far as the mind control and Avengers. You know, we got a little bit more insight from him. Well, we first met him in Thor, and that was obviously like a little small cameo, but they tried to give him some more personality with his family in Ultron, and like you mentioned, him being completely absent from Infinity War, but being a kind of a big part of Endgame. But tossing the question to you, Big J, in regards to just fandom of not necessarily the comics of Hawkeye, because they're completely different, but just your take on Hawkeye and the MCU. Are you a fan? And more importantly, are you excited for this series?
Until Endgame, I think nobody even kind of noticed he was there. But I think that's his role. Like this is the thing. Like when I think about Marvel, they always have like this long game, like this, like they have this long plan. And the thing I like with Hawkeye, he was the guy that was there to be kind of one of us. Like he's the only one that doesn't have superpowers. Like Black Widow, but she even can kick his ass. So like he's the guy that's there, and it's a bit like us, like thinking, what the hell am I doing here? So I think he was always that kind of character. And then in Endgame, when they gave him that important role, and he's like one of the most, like for the storyline, one of the most important, I think people got a little bit more of attention. But like we didn't have a lot of development with Scarlet Witch until her TV show. So I think we're gonna get a little bit more of him now. And from the trailer, they're gonna go into the Ronin thing. And I think that's the part that might be interesting. But I'm with Chris. I'm completely excited to see Haley because I think she's an amazing actress. I don't know that movie. That's something 17.
Yes, I know what you're talking about with Woody Harrelson.
Edge of 17. I think it is.
The Edge of 17. Yeah,
she's amazing on that. She's very good with the comedy and stuff. And I think she's gonna be a good I think she's going to be a good addition to what's coming. And I'm really interested. After the trailer, I'm in. Before the trailer, I have to be honest, I really did not care. I didn't even remember it was coming out this year. And after the trailer, it gave me some Home Alone kind of vibes in some way because of the
Christmas stuff.
So, I'm just excited to see what they're going to do.
No doubt, man. Well, hey, you mentioned the trailer, my friend. I'm going to play it for you all in a little bit. Hopefully, knock on wood, YouTube doesn't pull any buffoonery here. But we're going to play the trailer and then talk about it afterwards. So everyone get your bow and arrows, and let's check out this trailer, Hawkeye, coming to Disney Plus November 24th. Check it out.
I love you guys. I'm making up for some lost time.
Authorities are wondering if the masked vigilante who terrorized the city's underworld is back.
The past has caught up with me.
Should we be worried?
No, it's nothing. I'll be home for Christmas. I promise.
It's the most wonderful time.
When I wore this suit, I made a whole lot of enemies.
All right. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. We got Hawkeye coming to Disney Plus on November 24th. Chris, man, we got a little bit of the storyline that I was hoping they continue with is Ronin, but not in the light that I was thinking they were going down. Listen, my man was killing folks. Like, he was slicing and dicing the drug cartel and all that stuff. But it seems to be he got to get away from jail card, which it seems like there's a lot of those going around with the Avengers, with Wanda and a couple other characters that have done some things, like questionable things. But your thoughts on this whole Ronin angle, man? Is this something that will be a pivotal part in this series, or is this something that might be alluded to in the first episode and really don't tie into what he was been doing for 5 years, slicing and dicing folks?
Yeah, I think the latter. They're gonna try maybe get it over with because of they have this other Hawkeye to deal with and try to build up that character too. So they're probably gonna spend most of their time on that. And then maybe he was just killing bad guys. So people are just like, look, we were lost for 5 years. We got bigger shit to worry about. Like, who did you kill? All right, we gotta move on. Like, were there any good guys? Okay, no. Okay, God, thanks for the help. Appreciate it. So I'm pretty sure if it was real, like, the government's gonna have so much other shit to worry about than like Ronin, who's an Avenger, like do avenging shit. So I'm not in the camp of like, putting this guy on trial, but it'll be interesting to see how they handle it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, there might be a trial, man. There's been word that Daredevil
She-Hulk
might make his way. She-Hulk will be a great way to introduce that. And it might be the reason why he can't be Hawkeye, is because he has this blood on his ledger. But, we know Marvel sometimes, like I said, kind of neglects the stuff of our heroes doing bad things, even if it is against bad people. But tossing it to you, Big J, in regards to just seeing this trailer, I know some people were mentioning the comedy seems a little bit off, which again, it's so hard to kind of convey comedy in a minute and a half trailer. But your thoughts on this team up between Kate Bishop and where's Hawkeye's wife? I see the kids are in New York, but is there some trouble in paradise with the Barton family?
That's the thing. We watch a 1 minute trailer and we're trying to figure out what a whole season is going to be like.
Yeah, man.
And it's crazy. Like, I think they're gonna they show some good chemistry. I think they're not showing a lot because we don't even know. There's the rumors that we're gonna get Florence Pugh back in, and there's a lot of like other rumors. I think they're just trying to set the tone. And look, and I think they did a great job. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone is ready to go and see the musical of Steve Rogers. If they put that on Broadway tomorrow, it's going to be a sold out. So that's the thing. They're doing their job. They do, like, I think at this moment now, like, Marvel doesn't need to show a lot to make people be interested in watching. And I think that's one of their biggest strengths, because now they can, like, keep people surprised of what's happening, and they just need to show kind of a little bit, and people will be ready to watch it. Even if they didn't show anything, people will be ready to watch it. So, I think there's going to be more about the Ronin thing. But the thing is, we never know if people found out who was behind the mask, because he had the mask. So he probably he retired without no one knowing who he was. So he got away with it. And people are not trying too hard to find out anyway. But I think it's going to be more maybe because he gave the example. I don't know if she's killing people. And he's gonna like be trying to show, look, I was wrong. You don't do this. If it's gonna go around those lines, but I think it's gonna be more on preparing her the same way the Black Widow movie was more preparing us to get Florence as the next Black Widow. So
Yeah.
it's going to be more preparing her to be the next Hawkeye. So it's going to be more about that, I think.
And you mentioned her a couple times as I have it framed on Freeze that Yelena here, played by Florence Pugh. Chris, man, I think the rumor, I think it's been already confirmed. I think it was like almost 6 months ago. I don't remember who revealed it, but they said that, she will be reprising her role in this show. And obviously, if you guys have seen Endgame, or I should say Black Widow, how things played out. But how pivotal of a role do you think Yelena will play in this show, man, in regards to her? And there's a little rumor out there that there's another character that might be making its way into this show, a la Daredevil universe and Kingpin. But your thoughts on how big this show can mean to the MCU, especially with it being in the Christmas season, and we know that Spider-Man is during Christmas too. How big is this show going to potentially be in the MCU?
Probably not that big, but I'm excited to see Florence if that's confirmed. I think she's one of the best characters, new characters that we've seen in a long time. Of course, obviously Shang-Chi is crazy.
Yeah.
But that character blew me away, and I think it blew everybody away. So I'm hoping she gets a good amount of screen time on it. But
yeah,
I can't see the show being so pivotal. But each of the shows so far, they've been at least some level of pivotal. So
yeah,
we'll see how they go with this. I don't know that it's so crazy because it's so close to Spider-Man. I don't think it's really a connection there, but we'll see.
Hey, man, you never know. It might lead right into No Way Home. But again, I know you talked on it a little bit here, Big J, in regards to Florence Pugh. But again, I guess just like the importance of the show, if this is the last, which I think it is the last Disney Plus show, because I don't think Miss Marvel is going to be dropping this year based on the calendar. But just the ramifications based on WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, obviously What If, and now this, as far as like the impact. I think you touched on it on the passing the baton to Kate Bishop, but do you think there's anything larger that we can maybe anticipate from this show in regards to Phase 4?
I don't really think so. I think this is going to be a more grounded, more street level kind of movie. Maybe if they bring the Kingpin, they bring Daredevil, or maybe even like you said before, if they introduce She-Hulk before she becomes She-Hulk, that might be interesting. But I'm not seeing a lot of, and I have to say I loved what Florence did in Black Widow, but I'm hoping that she's not on this show a lot, because I just found it really stupid that this guy killed your sister. That's very easy for her to find out that he didn't.
That he didn't, yeah.
She's like 5 minutes, and she's gonna find out that he didn't. She's not dumb. So I just hope they don't do that. I hate when they do that in movie, like when they make these big fights and stuff, and people only have to say, whoa, she was my friend. Oh, was she? And we sort it out. So I hope
Martha.
Why'd
you say that name?
So I just hope she's there as like kickstarting everything, and that she's not gonna be this like big thing because I'm seeing this on IMDb. And it says here that she's going to be for 8 episodes. So I don't know if she's going to be the whole show. I hope that she turns into like a friend, someone that's helping him and not. Because in the end of Black Widow, I just thought that like Natasha did all that to save her, to take her out, and then in the end she's working with the enemy again, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
what are you doing? So I hope they don't go into that, and it's a bit sorted.
It'll be interesting, man. I think if that is the angle that we get within the first middle half of the season, Yelena comes in, they hash it out. Because I guess if I'm Hawkeye, how do I explain that your sister died by sacrificing her life for the Soul Stone? It's like, I guess that's kind of hard to describe, but hopefully they'll figure it out pretty easily, and she can team up. If again the rumor is true. If Kingpin's in this show, it's going to be pretty epic in regards, especially Vincent D'Onofrio in that role, because I thought he was fantastic. And that kind of leads kind of perfectly into the next topic here regarding, Vincent D'Onofrio. He's on Twitter and he's liking photos, and people just assume by him liking photos that he's going to be in the show, and kind of, taking that and running with it, which kind of brings us to, Mr. Andrew Garfield. Big fan of his, and we've been talking about this for months at a time in regards to Is he not in Spider-Man 3? And we're not going to really dive into that side of it because I think it's pretty much a big, a big secret in Hollywood, not a big secret. They're going to be in it. Why in the hell would you have the villains of these characters and not the heroes? But I guess the conversation I want to have with you all in the chat, and of course, Chris and Big J, is just this culture we're living in, Chris, man, with the leaks and stuff. Obviously, the Twitter, we can log off, we can mute certain words, but just the whole, like, the excitement's been kind of lost a little bit in regards to the mystery of a film and 2 or 3 trailers, couple TV spots, and then you go in and watch the movie. But nowadays we get leaked plots, we get set photos, we get actors spilling the beans on their own projects. I'm just kind of curious on your thoughts, Chris, on this whole culture of leaking information before things come out. And if for you, if it's ruined your kind of mystique of going to seeing these movies without having anything given away.
Yeah, it's tough. We talked about it all the time. I hate leaks. I hate set photos. I never look at them. I do watch trailers, but I just think they need to make better trailers where they're just not showing as much or giving as much away. I know. Then now you have people who are content creators who are like even Frankie's like, I don't watch trailers, or I don't know who, maybe it was Sharonda, but it's like, it's crazy. Just make a trailer that's not that crazy because like everyone's gonna watch Spider-Man. I don't need to know everything about Spider-Man to go and watch it. Look at Hawkeye stepping in my lane. I hate that, and I think when it comes to this week was the Apple announcement, new iPhones, new iPads. It's like nothing was learned that any tech guy didn't know or tech girl didn't know. But one thing is that the Apple Watch is not as cool as we thought it was. So we had leaks for a better product, and then Apple's like, nah, you're not getting that. So then all we get is more disappointment. So it's like, we've been hearing about Andrew Garfield and Toby in leaks, and then imagine they're not in the movie. The movie is now ruined because we built it up to here, and then it's and Marvel's like, we didn't say that. Like this is just you said that. So it's like I hate it all, and I try to just avoid it. But it's tough. It's the more you get into like the industry, the harder it is to like avoid these things. But that's my piece.
And I mean, too, and tossing to you, Big J, most recently, Andrew Garfield was on Jimmy Fallon's show. I think it was Monday night. And of course, he's promoting this new movie, Eyes of Tina Fey and all that, or Tammy Faye. But the question gets brought up, are you in Spider-Man? Oh, here's the photo. It's Photoshop, this, that, and the third. And, he's doing his best that he can to kind of skate around the question. But again, the same question for you, Big J, in regards to just the culture of the whole leaking thing. We were talking about it off camera regarding one of our, people in the space seeing Venom 2 and people like, how was the movie? No, it was like, tell us about the ending. Tell us about the end credits. But just your thoughts on this whole culture we're living in regards to just people wanting to leak things and not wanting to be surprised by things anymore.
I don't even think it's about not wanting to be surprised. I think it's the war on likes, the war on getting views in videos. So people know if they have a leak, they probably going to get a lot of views. They're going to get a lot of likes. That's going to get them attention. Then they think with that, they're going to get somewhere. So I think it's probably more that than anything, and it's the culture we live in. Like if you look at TikTok, people have no patience. They want to watch a story told in 15 seconds, and people have no patience. But then there's also the other side of the coin that I usually tell to people. If you go to, for example, my girlfriend, and you say, "Oh, Andrew Garfield just went and he leaked this and that," and she's like, "Who the hell is he? What's that?" Well. This is the thing, like for us, it's like these huge leaks. But for the most people that go and watch Spider-Man, they don't know anything about this because it's like Chris said, when you inside the industry and you like watching all these things, you're getting a lot more information. But like for the normal people, like they see the trailers that go on the cinema, they see the trailers that but they don't see the leaked trailers. They don't see this and that.
Right.
So sometimes we also think that the problem is huge, but at the same time, it's mostly for us. It's for the fans, and that's what's annoying. It's fans ruining the enjoyment of other fans. Because, again, if I tell anyone that's going in to watch Spider-Man and I say, "Oh, there's going to be Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield on it," it's going to be like, "Oh, okay." Like, it's not going to be like, "Whoa." So it is a problem, but I think it's only going to get worse because, like I usually say to people, I live in Portugal, and like sometimes a movie would come out in the United States, I would get it like 2 years after in Portugal, and we would have no clue what the hell the movie was on about, like 2 years after. But now with the internet, it's like we see it, and straight away people are posting, they're doing all this, so it's impossible to not know. So I don't think there's no way around it, to be honest.
It's a good point you bring up, man. And Chris, before we move on to next, I'm just curious, can you remember the last time you were genuinely surprised, shocked, didn't see it coming in a movie, and I guess more in particularly in the comic book realm, or any movie you could think of, but in particular in the comic book realm? When was the last time you were shocked by
the Juggernaut?
The Juggernaut?
Deadpool
2? That was, I don't remember anyone talking or at least spoiling anything about that. What about you, Big J? Do you remember the last time you went into a film not knowing, especially in the comic book realm, like, I did not know this character was going to be in here, or this cameo, or what have you?
To be honest, no. Like, to be honest, is like everything that's comic books, because I'm so inside of it. I at least have clues because of the comic books, because a lot of it is based on the comic books. So when you sing like the Juggernaut, I think it was kind of a surprise. But even on the trailers, when you see that big truck turning and stuff, and they like talking about they carrying all these powerful, you always think, okay, so who can it be? What's like the mutant that could be so powerful to do that? And then then you're not sure. But when it comes out. So I don't know. I like the last time I saw a comic book that I was, honestly, I can't think of anything.
I was as you were talking, I was trying to recollect in my mind, when was the last time I was genuinely shocked by? Well, this isn't a comic book movie, but to what we talked about earlier with Free Guy, and I won't give it away here, but there's a couple cameos that. One in particular that I was very happy with.
But also like I feel like those are the small ones. Like they can keep those. Because I think you've seen those in different movies, but like Juggernaut was a big character. Hulk and Ragnarok was a big character.
I can't think of any comic book movie of recent memory, man, that really kind of caught me off guard. And man, and this is just wrapping up this conversation here. I couldn't imagine how excited it would have been to not know any Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield news, and going to the cinemas December 17th and potentially seeing those characters, or even on my DC side, Michael Keaton coming back as Batman. I don't know. It's just like something like that would have been just like so epic to see for the first time without having anything given away. But, we live in a different culture, different times. But that kind of leads into this kind of next topic here in regards to not necessarily dive into some news that came out last night, but just in particularly just a hypothetical situation, starting with you, Chris. Mr. Andy, the director of Venom 2, Andy Serkis, just flat out said, hey, one day I would imagine that Spider-Man and Venom will cross paths. And we'll just kind of leave it at that in that regards and his comments. But hypothetically speaking, if you had a choice of Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, or Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man coming across Venom, what Spider-Man would you prefer to see them kind of cross paths if that happens in the future?
Yeah, hypothetically, Andrew. But then I don't think Andrew, like, I don't think beyond this new Spider-Man movie, Andrew goes back to being Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Toby, we've already seen with a Venom, no matter if you like it or not. And then true. Tom Holland's a good answer. I just think Andrew Garfield is cooler and can handle more of a Venom type of energy.
Yeah.
But if I want to see Venom more intertwined with the future of the Spider-Man that we know, of course, the answer then will be Tom. But if I had to pick one, it'll be Andrew for sure.
That would be pretty crazy, man, just to kind of think that there's two different Spider-Man going on at one time and having Andrew Garfield kind of get his redemption, because he never got his third film as these two Spider-Men on the screen did, but he never did get his kind of solo outing.
They did him so dirty, man. Those movies are not bad. The only bad thing about those movies is Jamie Foxx and Rhino, but it's not his fault.
Listen, and I think I mentioned it a couple weeks ago, but I'm going to be doing a watch-along series leading up to Spider-Man No Way Home, and I'm really excited to revisit. I haven't seen those Andrew Garfield films in probably like 4 or 5 years, so it's going to be.
They're always on TV. I always watch them, bro. You got to get on it.
Ain't no cable, so I don't. Hey, it blows past me, man. I got the DVD of the Blu-rays, but I'm excited to revisit them. But same question to you, Big J. If again, based on Andy Serkis' comments, he didn't confirm. He just said, inevitably, yes, these characters will cross paths. And if it was up to you, if you were the powers that be at Sony and you're Kevin Feige and you're talking it out, which Spider-Man would you think would be the cooler route to see cross paths with a Venom character in the future?
I don't know. Like, from what everyone now is like that watch the movie and all the things we are listening. Oh, the after credit scene is the craziest thing ever.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think Venom is probably the last of the Sinister Six because we only saw 5. And I think Venom is going to cross over and he's going to have a go at the 3 of them. And I think that would be pretty cool. If we have Venom going against the 3 of them at the same time, that would be pretty cool. If I have to pick one, I would say the same as Chris because whatever people say, I think Andrew Garfield is an amazing actor. For me, like
Oh, I see what you did there. Amazing. He's an amazing actor. He's an amazing
Yeah.
Spider-Man too.
And the thing is, like for me, that I read the comics, I think he was still when he was in the spider suit, he was the most like that I would see as the comic, the one making jokes while fighting, the one that kind of had that more of the fish out of water stuff. Because like I love Tom Holland, but Spider-Man for me is not working in the MCU because he's very depending on that suit. He's very like sometimes I think he doesn't need the spider powers because he has that suit. He's kind of like Iron Man. So I would like to see more, or Tom Holland loses the suit and he goes back to basics, and it's more like that. Or I would like to see Andrew Garfield going against it. But from the trailers, Tom Holland still has the suit that's nanotech and all that. And
Right.
that's not Spider-Man for me. Spider-Man is poor. He has no money. No money to pay rent. Why? Like he has a nano suit. Like
he's literally
Big
delivering pizzas.
Yeah. Like so, it doesn't work for me. That so I would like them to go back a bit with that. And but now it's hard. Why will they take the suits away and
and go back and start from scratch?
It's hard. So Andrew Garfield would probably be the coolest one.
No Toby love, huh? No Toby coming back and and getting. I don't think honestly. I don't think Toby would want to continue on that story. But who knows?
Toby is like an Indiana Jones kind of thing.
Right, he's too old for this. Well, that's actually a reverse because Indiana Jones is Harrison Ford's 80 years old doing another indie film,
exactly.
So he'll never see that. But hey, let us know in the chat, guys, if you're watching this on the replay. Again, if you had a choice of seeing a Spider-Man as my neighbors are mowing the lawn at almost 7 o'clock at night, which Spider-Man would you like to see maybe cross paths with Venom in the future? Would it be our Tom Holland, like Chris said, to continue the MCU lore and all that? Would you like to see one of the old school Spider-Man suit up and go against Venom? Or someone mentioned in the chat, Miles Morales. That would be maybe something different from the comics in regards to having Miles Morales having his own kind of universe and Venom being an enemy. We just got a trailer for the Spider-Man 2 video game, and we're getting Miles Morales and Peter Parker going against Kraven and Venom. So who knows? Maybe
that's crazy that trailer came out and that game is coming out in 2023. That's crazy.
Very, very crazy. And I don't think it's too coincidental that the villain is Venom in that video game. So they always timing, right? It's always a timing with these video games and comics. But hey, let us know in the chat, guys, your thoughts on Venom and Spider-Man and all that fun stuff. But look, we got a show that came on today by What If, and starting with you, Chris, on this episode, man, we got Killmonger back in the mix, messing stuff up, wrecking shop, on his road to vengeance as he was in the Black Panther film, man. Your thoughts on this episode and as far as Killmonger back in the mix, man. What'd you think about it?
Definitely not my favorite episode. Definitely not at the top. I did not hate this episode. I didn't, not enjoy it. And it's always great, when you get the Panther in it, you get Chad. But it wasn't the real Claw, right? The voice? Or was it?
No, Andy Serkis he's everywhere, man. He's in Batman, he's directing movies, and he's voicing people. So he's a busy man. That was he came back.
Love him. He wasn't as great as funny and as he normally is in this episode. Mm-hmm. But I didn't love this episode. I'm not a big Killmonger fan. Like everyone else says, they want to oh, I get it. Killmonger is just because he wants to help black people doesn't mean he's not a dick and he's not doing dick things. Yeah. So this episode, it just kind of made me angry because he was just wilding out and he's telling Rhodey oh, you can't work for the oppressor. That means you kill him. He's black. I don't know what your mission is. So I was just damn, this episode was all over the place.
Yeah.
I much prefer. I wanted to see more of the zombies from last week, especially because we had like a cliffhanger. But I guess that's kind of the gist of the show. We're getting a lot of cliffhangers with only a few episodes left, so only a couple things we're gonna get closure on, if any.
Right.
Did not. So in short, in long-winded answer, did not love this episode. Of course, didn't hate it, and maybe because I don't like Michael B. Jordan, and I don't think he did a good job voicing this character over. I mean, I like him better in the movie than this episode. Just the voice just threw me off. It just wasn't giving me a little. That zhuzh. It wasn't giving me that zhuzh that I needed, but maybe that's Michael B. Jordan. But
The
that's
slander,
where I stand.
the Michael B. Jordan slander, the Killmonger. Chris, man, what's going on, bro? What's no? Hey, I appreciate. Hey, man, I
wake up and chose violence.
Hey, the Michael Jordan B fans, they go hard, man. But it's the same question for you, Big J. Your initial thoughts on this episode, and just kind of the Killmonger story that we get here. A lot of the similar beats to the film, but obviously just seeing him just wreck shop, man, and manipulate the situation and get his vengeance for his dad's death.
Well, first I just have to say Chris is very lucky my daughter is not here, because she loves Michael B. Jordan. She says she's gonna marry him one day, so she would be very upset with those comments.
No,
well, look, I love Killmonger, but it's not one of my favorites. Also, there was some details that I really, really loved on this. I love the character played by Angela Bassett, Queen Ramona, when she goes into fight. I love that part because we never saw that in the movies.
Yeah.
So I thought that part was really, really cool. I thought some things were a bit off, but at the same time, we get a very young Shuri that's made me a bit weird, but at the same time, it's what years before, so it makes sense. So everything is really well thought of, and I think and the things of finishing on cliffhangers. If you ever read the comic books of the What If, they always finish like that, because the idea of the comic books is now with your imagination, you imagine everything that happened after. So that's kind of the concept of the books. Is that they're not going to tell you everything because there's no ending. The universe continues. So I like that part, and I think maybe on season 2 they might go in some of these stories and give us a little bit more. But this one was good. I like the idea behind it. I think some of the characters. I thought that one of the cool things on this episode was showing that if Tony Stark if the things that happened in the original movie with Tony, if they didn't happen, he would turn out to be not a very nice guy. I think this episode shows that if he would continue, he would be probably turning into a villain, because you see some things on that when he wants the vibranium, when he wants that he's just willing to do whatever. And I like that part because he gives more power to his arc in the MCU when he sacrifices himself. So he shows that depending on the situations, and we saw a little bit of that with Doctor Strange when he's fighting against his evil version. So that thing was cool. But yeah, I don't think it's one of the best. But I think this is like any anthology shows. Like when you watch something I don't know, the Twilight Zone and stuff like
Twilight
that.
or Black Mirror or something like that.
Black Mirror and stuff. You're going to have episodes you love. You're going to have episodes you don't care. You're going to have episodes that you think it sucks. But I think that's the whole point. Some people will love this one. Some people won't. And I think they're doing a great job. And I love the animation. The animation on this is amazing. It's so cool.
No, I agree, man. And also, too, just to kind of piggyback off that last point, Big J, just kind of curious because this is your first time on the show tonight. Just before we dive into the actual episode, overall take, are you enjoying the What If series so far? I think we talked about last week, but if you want to let the people know at home, just kind of your general consensus of the series, 6 episodes in so far.
Yeah, when they did all the shows that we were going to do on Disney Plus, I always said the one I was more excited was What If.
Oh, really? Out of all, even the live action stuff?
All of it when they introduced it, because I'm that guy that's because we read comic books, I was that guy that was always thinking, oh my god, what would happen if this would happen or that would happen, and I love seeing those things that like small decisions. I love the concept. Small decisions can change like the course of humanity, the course of the universe and stuff. So like I love the concept. So it's very hard for me loving the concept so much, even if there's an episode that I'm not that into it, for me to say, I wish I wasted my time. This is like, look, I always come out as the old guy, but this is the thing. In my time, we used to have a superhero movie every 5 years if we were lucky. So I'm very like happy, even if I don't like something. If I go and watch a movie of superheroes and I say, well, this wasn't my cup of tea, I'm still happy that I was able to see
winning.
able to see this on the cinema, like able to see all this. And I think that's the thing. Like people today are a bit spoiled, and they go on details. Oh, like that part of the story didn't make any sense. Look, we talk about guys that are bitten by spiders and are crawling in walls, and then we like, oh yeah, but he had a watch, and then in that time that watch didn't exist, and that song wasn't made yet. And I'm like, just
the nitpicking.
So I'm loving the show, and I'm like really wanting to see more. And I think what Marvel is also doing, they're not dumb. They're like they testing things out with this.
Oh yeah.
So that story that we might get a live action zombie
stuff,
movie. That's it. They put this out. They see the reaction, and then I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm not joking, I wouldn't be surprised if they like starting to make up some Broadway show of Marvel like they showed now in Hawkeye. This is the thing. They're like testing things out, seeing people's reactions, and then putting it out there.
So Big J, then which out of these 6 episodes was your favorite so far?
Yeah, I think the zombie one was probably my favorite one. I think because it just goes into so many things. But again, there's some things there that annoyed me. Like, for example, I don't know if it's just me, but I was really confused who was Spider-Man and Ant-Man in some points because I thought their faces were really similar. So
the animation style. Yeah.
So they were really similar. So in some things that you weren't seeing the body, I was like, who the fuck is this? Like, but there was like, and the comedy of Ant-Man didn't really fit. But look. We saw the Wasp as a giant zombie. Like, come on! Like, where are you gonna watch that?
Stuff you can only dream of. You're right.
And like, so that's the cool thing. Like, when you see stuff like that, and because I read the comics, there's so many cool stories that I just want to see. And like, if Venom gets in the mix, there's like a story that if Venom took power of the Hulk. So instead of him grabbing on Spider-Man, if he grabbed on the Hulk. So there's so many stories that are insane. So I'm really excited to know that they're doing season 2 and to see what's coming more.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is you touched on a point that we've been talking about for the last few weeks in regards to testing grounds. Like, you know, a lot of the times, you know, some of the movies would rely on, you know, let's throw this comic out there. Let's see if people like this character. You know, let's create a Miss Marvel. Let's create a new character and maybe introduce them 5-10 years down the road. And I think this is, to Big J's point, this is Marvel kind of like doing their minor leads type of thing. Let's introduce some of these concepts and ideas on the small screen, a la Disney Plus. And if the fans are receptive to it, you know, Captain Carter, you know, T'Challa, War, you know, all that stuff, and that concept of like switching up the characters, and let's see if they like them and bring them to the MCU live action or reinvent the character per se. So I think you're totally right, Big J, in regards to this is being used as a testing ground to test the audience to see how they like these characters. But breaking down the episode, man, starting off with you, Chris, as we kind of relive these Iron Man 1 sequences as Tony is doing the same essential thing, you know, taking the picture, all peace and all that fun stuff. But we see how things play out. His own bomb is right there in front of him. It blows, is about to blow up, but he doesn't get hit by the aftermath of it. But Killmonger, he's there. He's there to save him because he got some intel that I thought was perfect timing. We just got Shang-Chi a couple weeks ago, but we get it. You know, the 10 rings are out to kill him, and Mr. Michael B. Jordan himself is there to save him in the mix, man. So just seeing all these sequences of scenes here, Chris, just starting things off, revisiting Iron Man and all that stuff, man. What was your thoughts on this opening sequence here, man?
Yeah, I think this is one of the scenes that we were looking forward to from the original trailer before the series came out. So it was cool to finally get to this episode. Here we are at number 6, I think. Gave me a lot of great like flashback nostalgia from Iron Man 1. I never really watched Iron Man 1, and like I don't go back to that often. So it's like, oh yeah, forgot about that part. And then I was like, all right, let's see how they explain what the hell this guy's doing here. How is he throwing bombs? But yeah, that's kind of like, that was like my opening thoughts. Like, oh, I remember this part of the movie.
Yeah.
And let's see why the hell Killmonger's here throwing bombs.
Which tossing it to you, Big J, as we kind of get the homage to, as the watchers telling the audience, this hero didn't go down that path, as we see him in the path of what he did in Avengers, what he did in Endgame, but now he's going down a different path, which is, as you mentioned earlier, kind of more of a darker, more sinister. And I'm just a side tangent. I've always looked at Tony Stark as a villain in the MCU, not literally to the sense of a villain, but he does some Ultron. I mean, the list goes on of the stuff that Tony Stark has started, Team Cap all day. But Big J, your thoughts on just kind of going back to Iron Man 1, and we see Killmonger essentially do what Tony Stark did. Instead of announcing himself as Iron Man, we see Killmonger say, hey, I'm about to ruin your parade, Obadiah. You were the one that would try to kill Iron Man. And then obviously Iron Man's like, I like this kid. He's going to be my killer, and all the stuff that he does, hire him as the head lead of the security, COO, and all that stuff. Your thoughts on how this kind of shook out in this opening scene here, man?
No, I think they did a great job, because like we need to also think they like, if we see all the movies that came here, we had Iron Man, we had Endgame, Avengers, like scenes of all of them, and they have to do that on an episode that's quite short. So I think they do a great job. They take some liberties because they also assume that everyone watched the original movies. And if you didn't watch the original movies, there's probably going to be some gaps that you're going to be like, what's going on here? But I think they did a great job. And I could see it happening because, like, Tony is that kind of guy. He's cocky and thinks he's smarter than everyone. So he would never think that Killmonger could be smarter than him, could double cross him.
Underestimated him.
Yeah, so I could see that happening. And I think that's also something you see on the Black Panther movies, that is a lot smarter than he makes people think of. Like he shows a part of being the killer, but if you go into Black Panther and all his plan and everything, he's quite a good strategist, like a clever guy. And I think in here he shows that also. And I thought it was really cool because he was playing Tony, and you see him taking the job of Happy, you see him taking the job of Pepper Potts, like you see him kind of getting all these toys. So I thought it was really cool because the character that we saw in Black Panther completely fitted with what this guy was doing.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I know someone that was probably jealous of Tony Stark's new best friend, and that is Rhodey. Because Rhodey's like, man, I thought I was the cool black guy. I thought, we were best friends. So he's kind of taken in that spot. We're speaking of Rhodey. We see Peppers. She was on the Killmonger from when she first met him, and she's having Rhodey, which, by the way, this is kind of another retcon, if you want to call it that. The last, what was it, episode 3, they allowed Hulk being voiced by Mark Ruffalo and the race Edward Norton. We got to get the same thing here, where there's no Terrence Howard in Iron Man 1 anymore, but instead it is Rhodey as he's looking up all the stuff in Killmonger. And his record's pretty clean, except for, he's a killer. But I do like that they've kind of, we can, I guess, forget about Mr. Terrence Howard, and Rhodey is, obviously the official Rhodey in this situation, and Iron or War Machine. But moving on, we kind of get more homages to the first Iron Man, as instead of for Tony building his own suits, he talks to Killmonger as he learns more about the Liberator program. And Tony's just like, dude, you saved my life. I owe you anything. So let's get this thing started. So Chris, man, seeing Iron Man again, like Big J said, just being so like gun-ho and just like, yes, let's do this. Let's team up, all this stuff. Your thoughts on the sequences of here. And again, he's building his suits for Mr. Killmonger.
Yeah, if you have a woman in your life, a good woman in your life, just listen to her.
Just listen.
I didn't understand. Like I don't know if I took Tony to be so trusting of this dude, to give him so much power. But I guess if the dude saved your life,
Chris, this is the same guy that created Ultron. Created Ultron, man.
Yeah, but that was a mistake.
Guy has bad choices, makes bad decisions.
So yes, he does. And I was like, what the hell's happening here? Like I didn't trust this guy from the get-go. Yeah. And then I was like, oh man, we're not gonna get the suit. It was cool to hear Jarvis when we hear him in the episode too, but Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot going on.
And by the way, they did. I think you just mentioned that Paul Bettany, he did come back
Yeah.
to voice the character, which is always cool to see. But your thoughts?
Do we
Big
like
J?
that though?
Yeah.
Before you go, do we like
Sure.
seeing the cast in the beginning? Because then I'm like, oh, he's going to be in the episode. She's going to be in the episode. Like, isn't that kind of a little spoilery? Because I'm like, oh, I see Chadwick's name here, so I know he's going to be in the episode.
I prefer it because if it was me, I'm too busy looking at. I'm like, oh wait, who is it? I'm gonna be looking at IMDb instead of looking at the episode. So I actually prefer them giving us the names up top. But I know some people.
I like to know. I like to know
Yeah.
because I'm like, oh, who's the real voice? But then it's
Right.
like, damn, now I know that they're in the episode.
Right. No, very true. Very true. What about you, Big J? Are you kind of like you would prefer to see the credits after to see who's voicing the characters? Or are you just like, I'm excited to see, Don Cheadle, Michael B. Jordan, and all of them come back?
Yeah, I don't really care because like even if I know he's in the episode, I don't know in what role he's gonna be. I don't know what's gonna happen. So I don't.
True.
And that's the thing. Like we were saying before, we usually get now a teaser the day before of what the episode is gonna be. So we kind of know a day before what it's gonna be about. So it doesn't really bother me. But yeah, it's really cool to see these actors coming back and some of them, it's obvious that they love being part of this like big MCU family.
Yeah.
Like Paul Bettany is one of them. Like he wants to be present in anything he can. So sometimes it just starts some questions for me why some of them are not like voicing, some are. It's a bit weird sometimes. How they picked, but they must be also with contracts and stuff. I don't know.
Right.
But it's always cool when they can bring most of the cast and in here, I think it makes all the difference if you're getting like all these different voices. But to be honest with me, I'm really bad at like detecting voices. So if someone different would come, I'm gonna be very honest. I wouldn't tell. Like I would be like, probably I don't know if it's the same guy or not. So there's some voices that I'll recognize, but others I don't know. Someone could do a good job trying to mimic it.
I mean, someone mentioned it earlier, man. If I would have known, I would have thought that was RDJ. As far as the guy, I can't think of the actor's name, but he was like spot on. Yeah, like he sounded just like Robert Downey Jr. Which if he doesn't want to come back as Iron Man and they want to use his subconscious for Ironheart, then they can get that actor to voice Tony Stark. If Robert Downey Jr. gives them the blessing. But moving on to really a moment I want to kind of take with you all on the panel and everyone in the chat as we kind of break down this scene. As we at the point now, they need more vibranium. Killmonger lets Iron Man know this, or Tony Stark, and this is where Claw comes to the mix. And, obviously, as Big J mentioned, him going down that path of working with armed dealers. And again, Tony, man, is a bad mother, you know what? But he gets Claw involved. They make their way to South Africa, the same spot they went to in Age of Ultron. And this was a cool moment here. We get, and by the way, the score, I think we talked about it weeks ago, Ledwood's score in the Black Panther, whenever that pops up, I knew who was coming. And this was an homage to the first Black Panther film when he's taking out the men in the beginning of the movie. They send Rhodey to do the arms dealer to get the vibranium. But like I said, Black Panther's there to wreck shop. And we see him kind of, everything kind of play out. But unfortunately, Killmonger has the upper hand. He uses Tony's sonic taser thing to take him out and not knock him out, but literally kill him, which kind of brings me to this topic here and kind of a larger topic at hand. To me, this was kind of Marvel's way. We talked about how they plant the seeds and test things out. I think this was Marvel's way of kind of slowly but surely introducing the idea that when we see Black Panther come next year, that they will be killing off Black Panther and ending T'Challa's story. And we've talked about it multiple times on this channel. And we've had Email on the channel who is, a huge component of recasting the character, which brings me to you, Chris, in regards to seeing T'Challa die. Did that have any effects on you and just your general thoughts on this whole conversation? Should the MCU recast Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa, or should they kill the character, kill the legacy, and just move on with Shuri and maybe other characters to take on that character? Just your thoughts on that, man.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, man. It's a lot, my friend.
I'll try to make it quick. Number one, in this episode, yes, by the end, I knew he was dead, but in the scene, it didn't seem very deady. So I don't think, and I don't think this was an intentional what if, like, hey, let's try this out. Because, like, obviously, like, I don't know how much Marvel knows, but, like, if he's actually voicing it,
Yeah.
then they must think at least he'll be in the next thing. So I don't think it's a coincidence, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think they made it so deliberate, like, oh, he is dead, until you see the end when it's like, she was like, oh, it's for T'Challa and all this, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I guess he's really gone from this episode. It wasn't very clear. It's like we just think he's knocked out because they're just sonic waves. We think he's just gonna be fine.
Yeah.
So that was my opinion on the episode. I was like, okay, they could have made that more clear, but no problem. Your question about recasting T'Challa, yeah, I guess they should. I'm not sold on it. Like, if they didn't, I'm not gonna be picketing with your boy. I forgot who was going hard for it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that's petitions.
Yeah.
E-Man, he started a petition in regards to
E-Man. I'm not going to be petitioning.
Yeah,
but I don't think there's anything wrong with recasting him. We see it all the time in movies. It's not like this is Black Panther. This is not like, he's good at this, but this is anyone can get recasted in anything. Like, no one is above that. Like, this is not. I don't even know an example of someone that you really cannot do that. Like, I really don't know an example. So, like, I hope that they recast, and I really trust whatever they do, to be honest. But then, down the line, if Shuri gets it down the line, I'm cool with that too. I think that's that happens in the comic. I'm a huge Shuri fan, so I would love to see that. But I don't think it would be bad if they recast them, and I trust them. There's a lot of good, talented Black dudes that would love this opportunity and keep it moving.
Yeah, and tossing to you, Big J, in regards to obviously that moment in the episode, but then just the larger conversation, just to put some context on kind of where this petition's coming in regards to, okay, why do we want to see him be recast? For E-Man's perspective, his whole thing is just like we're replacing one Black character with another one in regards to, okay, sure, she's going to replace Black Panther in the MCU and not continuing the story, the incredible, as you know from the comics, the rich story from T'Challa and all the stuff that we have there, and just completely erasing all of that. It took 50 years to get this character on the big screen, and now we're going to obviously. And this isn't taken away from the death of Chadwick Boseman, but now we're just going to just end the story and kind of go on route. So this is kind of curious.
And I also don't know that I agree that it erases this. I understand what he's saying. I don't know if I'm in that same camp. It's like we have this movie and we have a sequel and we probably have a TV show. So it's like, are we erasing the legacy? Like, it's just one character. I get why they want to recast him, and I think it'll be dope, and I have no problem. But I don't think it's a slap in the face if you don't, because some people will argue that it's a sign of respect. Like, if someone dies, you just replace him, like he's so replaceable. Like, no, like you can make the argument and say, this character died in real life. We're gonna respect it. No one's gonna do it like him. It lived with him and it died with him. I don't think it's disrespectful, is what I'm saying. But I see where they're coming from.
All right, so because just a perfect example, man, and knock on wood, obviously, but Hugh Jackman, for example, in the prime of his career of Wolverine as Logan, if again not putting this out in the universe, but if he were to pass away, would Marvel continue Wolverine legacy, or would they just have someone else? X-23 is going to be your the X-Men Wolverine in this world, or Tom Holland, something happens to him, are they going to continue that story? So I think it's just kind of the whole thing of just, again, obviously him being a pivotal Black character in the MCU and just obviously the cultural impact that he had. But it's so much to dive into in that discussion there. But Big J, just your thoughts on obviously the scene, but your feelings on them recasting the character, moving on with the character, just your thoughts on that whole conversation there.
Yeah, I agree with Chris that I think it was like a coincidence. They didn't do this in the what if because they knew what was going to happen. Yeah, I think it's just a coincidence because the only way that Killmonger could become the Black Panther is if he would die. I think that's why he dies in the story, so they can tell the story. In terms of recasting him, it's like I think they need him to I think they're going to have to let him die for this Black Panther 2. I think they need to have Shuri taking the mantle. And then when they have the multiverse in full swing, they can probably bring a Black Panther from another universe that looks different. Because that's how the multiverse works. You might be the same character we saw in Loki. And I think Loki is it's the answer to bringing some of these characters back. Yeah. Like Steve Rogers, like Tony Stark, if they want to bring them. I just hope they don't do it a lot because it's going to become the Flash and it's
no consequences if you could just bring characters back from different universes. Yeah,
exactly. So I just hope it doesn't. But I think for Black Panther, if they want to bring him in, that's a good option. The other option is look, the Black Panther is like the Phantom don't know if you guys know the Phantom, like the old the old comic book guy. There was a movie with Billy Zane.
Yeah, I remember that movie. Very, very instant film and nice. Yeah,
and the Black Panther is like that. It's a guy behind the mask that's like there's a legend that's always the same one, kind of. But
right.
before him, it was his father. So someone can come along that deserves the mantle and can take the. Probably it's not going to be the same character. It's going to be a bit different, but they're going to continue the story, kind of what they're doing with the Falcon in terms of Captain America. So there's a lot of options there, but I think recasting the character like they did, for example, with War Machine and just pretend nothing happened. Let's like not talk about it. Let's not address it. Just put a different actor there and like pretend it's like nothing happened here. I think they shouldn't do that. I think that's a big mistake if they do that.
No, I agree. And it listen. First, Aunt Viv just magically being different skin complexion, but yeah, man, it's going to be interesting to see. I don't envy the conversations at all that Ryan Coogler and Nate Moore and Kevin Feige are having in regards to just so many rewrites, so many obviously things changing, and like Big J mentioned, or Chris mentioned, there's a TV show and all that stuff coming. So, you know, we'll see, man. I'm hoping that they do the character justice, and you know, I still want to. And this is no spite towards Shuri taking on the mantle, because that would be incredible. This happens, you know, it's in the comics. It's something that happens. I just don't, for me personally, I don't think Shuri in the MCU has grown to that type of character yet. But hey, that could be a storyline. She's not prepared, and that's
to
part
me.
of the
It's
plot.
like, yeah, no, I agree with you 1,000%. But to me, it's like the multiverse, like Big J said, that's a great angle there for sure.
Right.
But it's like
Right.
the Black Panther is one of the characters where it's like, it's not about it's just whoever has the, you know, the power of the Black Panther. It's like it's designed to have a new person. So it's like I could trust that Marvel could come up with a creative way to explain that he may have passed, and then find out who takes it on. Because I know, you know, a lot of your boys' argument was like this black male character, and it's like, yeah, what if it is M'Baku? He's a Black Panther for a little bit or whatever. Like, still a black dude that's a Black Panther. It's like it doesn't have to be T'Challa. And it's not like we didn't have a lot of content. I'm not saying we had enough, but it's like we got a good amount of content from this character that you can explain. Okay, you know, because, you know, to Big J's point, it's like, how do you just aren't vivid? And Will Smith looks at the camera and says something's different about you. Like, it'd be tough. Like, that's harder to explain than just saying, let's figure out how to say how he passed away, and then keep moving, and then try to figure out how we get a new Black Panther in the seat.
I think they have the time. I think that's it. Like with Black Panther 2, they can have like you said, the story of Shuri like turning into the Black Panther and using their brains and technology and stuff. And then if they're doing a Black Panther 3, we're probably talking like 3-4 years from now. So that's going to give them enough time to kind of put seeds in other movies, to kind of create stories, to kind of do all this. So when it happens, it's not something. I just think it's too on top of the time doing it now. If we start the movie and 30 minutes later we have M'Baku or someone turning into the Black Panther, you're gonna be like, well, like that's because it's not gonna look natural. Everyone is gonna be okay. The guy died. We needed to do something. So I think they're going to take their time. And that's something that MCU shown time and time again is they are not afraid of taking their time. We talked about this the other day. Like, they have the X-Men, they have the Fantastic Four in the back of their pocket. And then if it was any other studio on Earth, there would be 5 movies already coming out next month of these characters. And they have all the time in the world. So they're going to take their time. They're going to focus more on the Wakanda, and that's what I also think with Chris is right, is you're not going to lose anything if like you still have that culture. It's not because one person dies that you miss all that. You still have the whole culture of Wakanda, and more we saw it on Falcon and Winter Soldier. They got in. They're showing up in all
over What If.
Yeah, they're all over What If, and they're always the place. And this is what I really like. There's always the place that is always ahead of everyone. It's always the more evolved, the more protected, the more technology. Like the zombie one is where they go to get protected. It's always
Right.
So I think they're still doing a great job with Wakanda. So there's no point. It's not gonna be all lost because you lost one character.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, I appreciate you guys indulging in this conversation, man. It's still a conversation to be had in regards to what they do, because that's going to be a headline. Whenever that trailer comes out, whenever the press comes out and the interviews come out, obviously how are they going to handle the situation? We'll see, man. We will see. I personally, just to kind of the last thing, I do personally wish that they would have delayed the film and had the show come out first, just to really, because to me, it sounds like there's like a pressure to meet that deadline of 2022, having Black Panther, because we know that all these films are so interconnected and they tell a narrative. So I personally do wish they would have taken maybe a year off from the film and really work out all the details with the writers and Ryan Coogler, because obviously when the film comes out, we won't even be 2 years removed from, obviously Chadwick Boseman. So I don't know. I think there was just should have been a little bit more time, but we'll see, man. And Ryan Coogler, Nate Moore, and them, they're hopefully handling the situation well, and we'll see what comes of it, man. But I appreciate you guys. Let us know in the chat, guys, watching the replay, how you guys feel about this recasting situation. But for moving on to the rest of the episode, as we see again, Rhodey and T'Challa have been taken out by Killmonger, just showing us again, man, this man had a plan from the beginning to get his vengeance as he's taking out these people and just creating this narrative that it was Wakanda. This is in retaliation as in regards to, okay, Rhodey's dead and all that stuff. So this is, the task at hand now is that this story is being made up by Killmonger, that this was Wakanda's attacking them for obviously the loss of T'Challa and playing all that as we kind of move to him taking out Tony, man. Chris, did you think for a hot second that Tony was going to actually be able to take down Killmonger with his own machine, or was it like this man had no chance to go against Killmonger in this moment here?
Man, of course my bitch ass thought he had a chance. I thought Killmonger was out of there, man. I was like, damn, get him, Tony. Get him with that sock and bopper or whatever it is. But I was wrong. And then I was like, well, he didn't put the spear through Tony's heart, so maybe he'll be all right. And then he wasn't all right.
Yeah, he took him out, man.
Yeah, so I was like, how is Killmonger going to beat this machine up? And I was like, all right, whatever. It was cool to see him, explain the scars and then give a new scar and all that. That was like a hard little moment. But yeah, that's where I was at.
No doubt, man. The Big J, man, your thoughts on Killmonger being able to take out this his own machine, from his own creation, with Tony discovering everything and everything that kind of played out within these sequences of scenes.
Yeah, like I said before, he had the plan from the beginning. It was obvious. And then by the end of the show, you see that it's easy for him to destroy these machines. He never built them to be the solution. It's like just a distraction. So, and the thing is, the episode was called, he had him in the cover, so there's no way Tony was going to win. It had to be about him. So, yeah, I knew it was. And he also was becoming the villain. So he had to die before he fully turned into that villain. So, yeah, I saw it coming. Yeah,
no doubt, man. Which kind of brings us to kind of the next moment. Again, his plan is just moving along. Everything's going perfectly according to plan, and we kind of see the same events play out as we see in the Black Panther film. Claw gives him access to the Wakanda. He takes him out. He brings the body to the Dora Milaje and to T'Chaka at this point. And at this point in the episode, which I got to say, I'm a big T'Chaka fan from the comics and, from the little bit that we got from the Civil War and Black Panther. It was a little easy for, to believe his nephew and kind of coerce him into going to this war and everything of that nature. But yeah, he works his magic and he works his words and says that he brings up the dad and his brother. And obviously there's some legacy there and some history there. So he's able to convince T'Chaka and the Dora Milaje to prepare for war because, General Ross at this point has full control over Tony's armor, over all his equipment, his weapons. And we see a war break out, which is something that happens a lot in the comics in Black Panther. There's a lot of wars in Wakanda, which is something I hope they explore in that TV show that we get later down the road. But Chris, man, I know, Big J brought up earlier, seeing Angela Bassett come back into the mix, kicking ass. We see Okoye step into the mix. Your thoughts on this week's action? Because I think all the action in this series has been pretty great. But your thoughts on the Wakandans versus the drones, which is, a great homage to Iron Man 2.
I thought the action episode was really good. I said it's not one of my highest rated episodes, but I did think the action was really good. And you touched on it earlier when Black Panther came out and you were hearing the soundtrack while he's fighting and
Yeah, I
kicking
love
ass
it.
real quick.
Yeah,
That was
man.
fire. And then the Dora Milaje, I think is always just dope to just see them in action. And then I
Mhm.
think Big J mentioned in the beginning just to see Angela Bassett's character going ham because we just saw her just like being like a trophy wife in the movie. So it's like cool
Mhm.
to see her like getting some action and plus I was like, oh, they're gonna get their ass kicked by these robots. But then I was like, oh, they were like doing some things.
Yeah.
So I thought the action was really good.
No doubt, man. And your thoughts on the Big J getting that kind of homage to the drones from Iron Man 2, but also Infinity War, as you mentioned, when shit hits the fan, you got to go to Wakanda. So we see kind of those two movies kind of getting an homage there. But your thoughts on this sequence of action versus Killmonger really playing into the role, man, that he's the good guy and T'Chaka's eating it all up.
No, seeing this action is. I think with What If they also creating a problem with Marvel because it's like we saw the live action. Now they did this animation of the
Looks
live
better.
action, and
Yeah.
now we looking at the animation. We thinking, oh shit, I want to see this in live action. So
Right.
they now have to make the movie live action with all this. But yeah, the line was really cool and for the first time because in Black Panther in the movie, I always think those rhinos are a bit stupid because like just get away from it because it's not like. But in here they kind of worked, so it was cool to see the rhinos and seeing. Yeah, the action was really really good. I thought it was really well choreographed. It's like. It's something that they're doing really well with these animations. It's like they're going a bit darker also because it's animation. People don't take it as serious, so they're going a little bit more violent in some of these actions.
Mhm.
Because it's the robots, they also can go full on them. So
Right.
I really enjoyed seeing him. And Killmonger, like this is the thing. I'm a big fan of Killmonger, and I just wanted to see more of him. And this gave me the opportunity to see more of him. Unlike Chris, I was wanting to see more of him.
Yeah, man, and as if anything, if Invincible has taught us anything earlier this year, is animation as it's been doing for years. It can get dark and get bloody and get as we saw last week with the zombie episode. So yeah, I do appreciate that they haven't went necessarily the traditional cartoons and animation or just for kids. No, like they're getting dark, and I appreciate that, and I hope that Marvel takes a little bit of momentum from that and add some of that into their live action, hopefully. But wrapping up the episode, like I said, at this point, T'Chaka is full on. Killmonger is a Wakandan. He's my nephew. He's a part of the clan now. I can fully trust him. So he gives him the powers of the herb and makes him the next Black Panther, which is a great moment for obviously the Killmonger fans out there. As we know, this moment playing out in live action, he died, but he's very much alive in this moment as he is given the powers of Black Panther willingly by T'Chaka, as we see T'Challa in the astral plane saying, was it worth it? And a great conversation here between these two characters regarding suffering with more suffering, and obviously his whole thought of oppression and the way his mindset kind of gets him to this point in his life. But I thought that was a really great moment as we see him taking on the Black Panther moment. But Chris, man, your thoughts on obviously the scene between the two characters, and as we kind of wrap up the episode, which I do think was maybe something added in post-production, where they add the lines from the Watcher in regards to obviously heroes never die and they continue to live on through the people they inspire. So I think that was something that they definitely want to add to obviously pay respects to Chadwick Boseman. But your thoughts on this last little moments of the episode, man?
Yeah, I really like the scene with what the celestial plane, is that what they call it?
Yeah. The
I really,
Black Panther, yeah.
Besides Black Panther coming in and fighting and with the sound bites there, I think that scene was my favorite scene because I'm like,
Same
thank
here,
you. Someone just explain to this dude what you're doing is not right. Like,
yeah.
That's my point. Like, that's what I wanted to say. If I was I'm not as eloquent as Chadwick, but that's if I was cool, then I would say that. And I'm a big Shuri fan, so it's kind of weird. Like, it makes sense why she's younger, but it was just like, damn, that's like a little kid. It was weird to see her that way, but I just love her and everything that she's done, and just surprisingly, like, these guys are geniuses, and she's like smarter than them, so it's like it's fucking great. So I love to see her. I mean, I don't think anyone's a big Pepper Potts fan. We just accept her. But I thought it was interesting to see, like, it's an unlikely pair with like a like a joint mission. So I was like, this is very interesting.
No doubt. Same with you, Big J, regarding this kind of wrapping up the episode. Your thoughts on the sequence here of seeing those two having that conversation. And he still, even though T'Challa tells him, man, this isn't, you're going to end up, whether it's here on this plane or in Earth, you're going to end up dead. But then obviously seeing, which I think we will see this story be continued, because I think in the trailer they show young Shuri fighting with the Dora Milaje. I think we're going to get more of this story, but we see Pepper learns from this young girl the information she has at hand. But just your thoughts on how the episode wrapped up, man.
Yeah, just before that, I saw an article today, and the title was a fan favorite of Iron Man movies comes back for the What If episode. And I went and read it because I was thinking, what the hell was it? And it was Pepper Potts.
Pepper Potts, really?
And I was like, fun favorite.
I don't know about that.
How the hell is she a fan favorite? Like,
I think that they must mean the actress, because we like Gwyneth,
right?
We like
yeah.
the actor.
I don't know what they meant. I think it was just to make us read, and it worked.
Right, just clickbait.
Yeah, like I thought it finished really well, and like unlike you guys, I understand why Killmonger does all that. Like, I can imagine. Like, I think his backstory is really strong. Seeing his dad getting killed when he was young, then he's abandoned. He has to like deal with everything himself. Then he goes to the army because it's the only place that would take him. All he knows is death and war because they were built him as a soldier. So everything like a response for him to solve problems is killing people. Violence. So I think he really fits with his character, and it doesn't matter how many people come to him and says, "Oh, there's a better way." It's not going to work because like that's all he knows, and that's something that on the What If episode of the one that was Guardians of the Galaxy when
with Star-Lord.
Yeah. One thing that pissed me off on that episode was when we had Thanos there and they said, "Oh, I had a conversation with him." I was like, "Oh, come on, that guy's not going to change because someone had a conversation with him." It's like that's not going to happen. And I think here is the same. He understands. I thought there was something that was really good in the movies. I think he always understood that his way wasn't the right way, that it was the only way he knew how to do it. But he always knew that he was sacrificing a lot of like to do it. And it's not like he's saying he's happy about doing it, but it was the only way that in his mind he could avenge his dad and maybe think after avenging his dad he would feel better. And I think that conversation there when he says, "Was it worth it?" I think it's all about that. It's like it probably wasn't, but what else did he add? So I thought it was really strong. It's not one of my favorite episodes, but that part there and everything about the character development was really, really good. The last bit with Shuri and Pepper, they have to set up something. That's my issue sometimes with this is like, thinking on the financial side of the business is they need to keep things going. And it would be a better episode probably if you wouldn't have that bit for me. But at the same time, they need to set up something that now people are like, "Oh, I want to see what's going to happen." So it was necessary, but if you could remove it, it would work a lot better.
Yeah, man. No, I think you guys, summed it up pretty well in regards to this conclusion. And again, I think we're going to see this continuation of the story. And I wonder which episodes from this season, because like Chris mentioned, we only have 3 episodes left, and we still got Party Thor, Gamora becoming Thanos, and Ultron. So it'll be interesting to see how they resolve any of those cliffhangers, or if they're going to save them for a season 2, if any. But
I don't think they will. I don't think they will in this season. I don't think they're going to go back to any story.
It makes sense because they would have already did that. So like Big J said, like it'll just be like anthology style, and they'll just keep moving, which is fine.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. And one more question for both of you guys and for people in the chat. Based on this episode, I know, Chris, you're not the biggest fan of this character, but based on this, man, does this give you any idea? We mentioned variants and multiverse. Do you think the MCU will bring back Michael Jordan in the live-action MCU? Starting with you, Chris.
I don't know.
He's a big star. He's a big star, man. It's a big gig.
Yeah, he's a big star. People seem to like him for whatever reason.
Love him.
I just don't know how they sell that. Like, it's fine that he was in the movie and then he died. I don't know, how do you like? Are you correcting that? Because then it's like you always say, E, like, is anybody
Is
really
he
dead?
dead? But is he
Oh,
dead,
God.
Chris? If you
No,
revisit
no.
Black Panther, we don't see a body, my friend. We see him stabbed. We assume they take him to the water. There's a guy named Namor in the water.
I don't think they would have done that. I think maybe they entertain it because Chadwick passed and they need to like shake something up. But I don't think if it was BAU, they would have gone there.
Yeah.
Then I think if they would have gone there, I think they would have just teased that at the end of the movie, like maybe he's not dead.
Maybe he's not dead. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't need it, but people do.
Big J, man. Same with you, man. What's your thoughts on Killmonger?
But that's the thing, like probably they didn't tease it in the end of the movie because they didn't know how people would react
to Killmonger.
To Killmonger. And I remember when he came out, a lot of people just saying, "Oh my God, this is the best part of the movie," and this and that. So that's probably a reason. And like this wouldn't make Chris happy, but imagine if they bring him back and he's the new Black Panther.
I think Big J, man, I'm telling you, we talked about it a couple months ago when they cast, I can't think of the young lady's name, but they casted an actress that's going to be potentially, some people think she's going to play Storm. I think she's playing Madam Slay, who happens to be a love interest of Eric Killmonger. And in the comics, she's responsible for bringing him back from the dead. So I don't know, Big J. I think to Chris's point, we're going to see some more Michael. I mean, seriously, though, this is a big name actor, young enough actor to continue the role. I mean, the man is Superman, potentially in the DC. I think it would be a huge mistake for them to not somehow, some way bring.
And the thing is, like him surviving, if you see on Black Panther 1, like T'Challa, when he fights him and gets stabbed and falls from a cliff and he's still alive.
Yeah, T'Challa died. Exactly.
That's not a big like difference from. It's even worse than what happened to him. So he could be. But look, that's the thing. Like we are 3 guys here talking. They probably have 50 guys watching a
whole team.
Like getting. So I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but they're probably watching our stream though. So.
Yeah,
of course.
But I'm not joking. They must be watching a lot of people's ideas and thinking, well, that could work. Because no one was gonna, like, when we get to the movie, no one is gonna say, oh, that's the idea that guy had, because there's been so many ideas out there. It's just another one. So they have a lot of like alternatives, a lot of things that they are doing. But look, like how we're seeing now in Spider-Man, bringing back, for example, oh my God, my head is blanking.
The villains, Doc Ock, Green Goblin,
Goblin, what's his name? Green
Doc Ock,
Octopus.
Yeah. No, Green Goblin.
William Dafoe.
William Dafoe. For example, imagine you being able to say, look, we have William Dafoe there. We can bring him as the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Like that's
figure it out later.
That's the dream job. Like there's no director on earth that's gonna say, "Oh no," because he was in another movie. No, like Green Goblin, William Dafoe. Okay, bring him in. Like we have all these amazing actors, and like I think Jamie Foxx was horrible as Electro, but he's an amazing actor.
Get a chance,
but he's an amazing actor, and like if he's given the chance in the right role, he can do a great job. So I think they thinking the same thing with Michael B. Jordan. He's like a guy that's in talks with Warner Brothers to do a version of Superman. Are we going to lose this guy, especially because especially he for sure he has a multi-deal contract that he did when he did Black Panther.
When he signed with Black Panther,
So that means they can bring him probably for a fraction of the money that they would like if they went to hire him now. So they can bring that guy for a fraction of the money that everyone else is paying. So there's all the signs there that they will bring him back.
Yeah, I mean, and again, too, if I'm Michael B. Jordan, I'm asking for a bigger payroll, right? If they do ask me to come back, which we'll see, man. I think it would be a huge opportunity for them to someone creatively bring him back, as we talked about the multiverse, as we talk about no one's really dead in the MCU. So we'll see what comes of it, and I know Chris is gonna love it when Michael B. Jordan is back in the mix doing his thing.
I'm not gonna hate on him. I'm not gonna hate on it. He's fine.
Yeah, man, we'll see, man. But quick shout out to everyone in the chat. But we just got a super chat in from Pound the Pavement. Shout out to you, showing some love, tuning in tonight, as well as everyone else. But the super chat says, I like the episode. Larry would love this conversation, which is funny. Larry, who's a YouTuber, content creator, you can see him a lot on Brandon's show. He's a big advocator of bringing back Michael B. Jordan, aka Killmonger, and making him the rightful king of Wakanda. So yes, I'm pretty sure Larry was loving all the Killmonger stuff that we got in this episode. But thank you, Pound the Pavement, for the super chat and showing some love, man. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, we broke it down. We talked some Hawkeye, we talked some leaks, Andrew Garfield, Venom, and then What If. And this was just such a fun conversation, man. I appreciate Chris every single week coming in, dropping some knowledge on us all. And of course, Big J spending his mornings with us talking about this wonderful stuff. So I couldn't be more appreciative of both of you all and everyone in the chat. So before we wrap out and head out, man, Chris, any final thoughts on anything we talked about, man? And any thoughts on just, I guess, ranking wise, if you want to let us know where, out of the 6, top tier, middle tier, bottom, as far as this episode, any final thoughts on that, man?
Yeah, I mean, the show's been really good. So I guess it would be technically bottom tier, but it will be the top of the bottom. I don't know if I like this one better than Doctor Strange. I gave Doctor Strange a hard time. But I really like the episodes. I think the show is, I didn't know what to expect with the show, but I think it hangs in the bottom of that, the top of that bottom tier. Other thing else we talked about in the stream, these leaks, they're driving me crazy. Venom.
Patch them up, man.
We got 2 weeks before we can watch Venom. So, hopefully I can keep my internet clean from leaks. And I really don't want to hear anything about Spider-Man. That's 2 months, 3 months. So I don't. Yeah. I'm not really confident about it. But it's a tough world we live in. But yeah, it's really cool.
I agree, man. Big J, man. Again, I'm gonna outro in a second, man, and have you have their stage let the people know where you're at. But just any final thoughts on episode ranking wise for you, man, and what you hope to continue to see in the rest of this What If series.
Yeah, like this for me is probably in the middle. I still like the zombie one better. I like this Doctor Strange one. I'm probably one of the only ones that I like the first one, Captain Carter. I thought it was cool.
I like Carter.
Yeah, it was cool. But what I want to see is I just want to see stories that we didn't saw before. I think some of this sometimes they'd kind of just changing a few things and
from the movies,
and stuff. And I would like also to have an opportunity maybe to see characters that we're not going to see in the live action movies. Some things like that. If they bring Punisher, if they bring some of the other characters that we probably saw on other TV shows and stuff like that.
That's a good, yeah.
That would be cool to see because like I said, that this is a great opportunity for them to test things out. Like they did the zombie one. If they do let's say a Ghost Rider episode and it works really well, then they can go and get Keanu Reeves and finally give him a role. But that's what I want to see. I don't think we're gonna get that just yet, but but for season 2, maybe get a little bit out of the box and maybe because they already catched up. That's the thing with now, like season 2, or they do everything about Phase 4,
which they not to cut you off, BJ, but they announced last week that there will be a Black Widow episode for next season. I think Shang-Chi too. So to your point, they will be catching up to it. So
So they'll probably start doing a few different things, and that's what I'm excited about seeing. Like some of these stories, like the weirdest it gets, I think it's what I want to see.
I agree.
If they do Black Widow, I need Scarlet because that'll just be a moment of unity.
Oh no, that relationship is dead.
I need that to happen, bro. That would be that's like a Tupac and Biggie collabo album, bro. I need that.
Man, that relationship is deader than the zombie episode, bro. It's not happening. But what I do want to see in that Black Widow episode is a better Taskmaster. Okay, we need to get that. Okay, we need a better Taskmaster when we get that episode when that comes. Yeah. But neither here nor there, man. What a great time with you, gentlemen, tonight. It's always fun, Chris, as you know, man. And Big J, it's always good to see you, man, and have you on the night. So, starting with you, Chris, man, where can the people find you? What's next on Tait's Take in regards to reviews and all that good stuff, my friend?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks to everyone for checking in. If you're watching it live, you're a real one. If you're watching on the replay, you're a real one. Thanks for all the thumbs up and all that kind of stuff. So just really just enjoy hanging with y'all. Tate's Take is getting back at it. I think I got like a Netflix swing for the next couple of videos. I'm gonna do sex education. A couple of the reality shows. You know, I'm a reality show junkie, so I'm gonna go through some of those. And yeah, and then I guess Venom is like the next big movie that I'll check out. Hopefully I can get that on the channel too. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So check it out. I'm out there. Like, comment, subscribe. We live.
Do it, man. Do it. And Chris, I'm excited to hear your thoughts on. I didn't know you was a sex education fan, man. I love that show.
It's the best show on Netflix.
Funny, so
I
funny.
totally agree. Did you get? Have you started season 3 yet? By chance?
Mhm.
Yep.
Oh, is it out already?
Fire. It comes out Friday.
I believe. Yeah.
It comes out Friday. It doesn't miss a beat.
Yeah, I agree. I got like 2 more episodes left, and I've been really enjoying this 3rd season. It might be my favorite. We'll know. We'll talk about it later. But yeah. But Big J, man, again, I know it's literally like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock where you're at, man. So I couldn't be more thankful for you joining us tonight, dropping that knowledge as you always do, man. Where can the people find you, and what's the next review we can expect to find on you and your daughter's Instagram on Unyolo, man?
So yeah, you can find us on Instagram, Unyolo Movies blog. At the moment, we've been for the last 3 years, kind of every 2 posts we do kind of a list or something. So now we've been looking in our letterbox, and letterbox gives you stats. So we did this like lists of the directors we saw more movies, not the ones we like the most or anything, but the ones we saw more movies that they did. And now we finished that. We're doing the actors that we saw more movies. It's always a surprise even for us, because we go and see the list and we think, really, we saw so many movies of this guy. So it's been fun finding out with people at the same time. So we're doing that, and then just reviewing the movies that come out. I think now we also have Venom, and I think we're gonna get Dune also a couple of weeks before the United States in Europe. So probably gonna see Dune a couple of weeks before everyone there. So it's gonna be cool.
Jealous. I am jealous. I cannot wait to see Doom, man. But hey, guys, just right quick, let me share the screen again. They talked about it, but just to show you guys in live action where you can find them. We got Tait's Take, his YouTube channel on the screen now, guys. As you guys can see, the man's killing it. Definitely, his links are in the bio. Subscribe to the channel, show him some love. Really excited to see what's next on his awesome channel, and sharing his great take on everything that he has for you guys. And then, of course, as Big J mentioned, him and his daughter have a great YouTube or a great Instagram that they've been doing for a while, and just been doing a great job of building community. So you guys can see Unyolo on YouTube or on Instagram, always killing it with the reviews and just a great community that he's building. So definitely, guys, do yourself a favor, follow him, subscribe to him. You will not be disappointed. So Chris, Big J, you guys are awesome. Everyone in the chat showing some love. You guys are awesome. And everyone watching us on the replay, do me a favor, like it, share it, comment your thoughts in the comment section. And of course, again, subscribe to all these wonderful content creators. You will not be disappointed. So guys, it's been a blast. Hope you guys stay safe. Hope you had a good time. We'll see
Always.
you.
Thank
Take
you.
care, everybody.
Bye.